That's what it is. But we're talking about a lot about fireworks because usually when the holiday is on the weekend, 4th of July, people buy their fireworks, light them on Saturday night, cool, dies down on Sunday, you go back to work on Monday. But because of the holiday is now on Tuesday, people are jumping the gun and hitting it hard throughout the entire weekend, even after 5 nights. And you know, people get excited, they have leftovers, so they're going throughout the whole week after that too. So we have two guys here on our panel, Rob and Walt, who live in residential areas. They've dealt with this before. Is this a problem, or is this just something that like it's just this, are we just blowing this out of proportion? Because some people don't really mind fireworks, but is it an issue?
Okay, I went big. Maybe I've just changed, but I've got 2 kids at home, and 2 years ago I had 2 dogs. One terrified of fireworks, and so I was dealing with it for days. That dog passed away, and then it's just myself hearing M80s at 2 o'clock in the morning. This morning, as I'm going, this is Monday. Okay, this is July 3rd, Monday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm hearing constant M80s go off in the neighborhood, in my neighborhood, and the neighborhoods around me. And it's just out of control because I think there's 2 things. You'll get the story. This is legal fireworks going on sale, which are allowed, but you're not supposed to light them off till the 4th. You've got the whole illegal firework thing going on. And there's apps that you can use. The police are out saying this is what you can do. These are the laws. Don't break the laws. We're out in force. We will respond to these calls. But on the other side of it, I think everybody knows the police cannot catch almost anybody doing this because in order for them to proceed, they need to catch somebody in the act. And it can't be this middle of the road stuff. They need to see it visually, and then they can proceed to confiscate the fireworks, if not more. So everybody knows you can get away with this. And I don't think anybody's really reading comments on Facebook or on Nextdoor.com saying, gosh, now I feel really bad. So we have this situation where people are going to do what they're going to do. But the neighborhoods, I mean, I'm going to paraphrase here, but Walt, we should get your opinion on this too while I dig up some comments. In my personal opinion, this is out of control because it's one thing on the 4th of July, it goes till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, maybe midnight. This is 3 days before. This is 3 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. It's out of control, and the frustration for myself and from people in neighborhoods all over the place is that we want something done, and there isn't anything to be done. And a lot of advice is, look, it happens every year, just deal with it. But it's bad for pets. Pets run away. Some pets never come back because of this.
Oh, wow.
There's kids with autism that this may be a trigger for them. There's that whole situation. There's parents, there's elderly, it's just a lot to deal with. And I feel like the real frustration is that we just feel that people are breaking the law and we're helpless. And so what is anybody going to do about it? Can anything be done? That's a helpless feeling. I'm seeing a lot and experiencing a lot and hearing a lot about just people feeling that nothing can be done.
Bring the camera over here, Mason.
Get in close on Walt Gray.
So everybody should be having fun, right? Like Rob said. What's with the M80s like at midnight, 1, 2 in the morning? I mean, where are you going with that? What's the whole point of that? Dogs, kids, old people. You're just doing that because you're trying to be a pain in the, right? I mean, why would you do that? Have fun, man. Have 50,000 beers, have your barbecue, have everybody over, do your safe and sane. Maybe even if you're going to blow up illegal fireworks, you know, as soon as it gets dark, so you can go woo and all that. But when you're doing it like 11p to 3a, you're doing it just to be, right? I mean, there's no other reason for that. Or you're stupid drunk and you're being because there's no other reason for that.
Well, what about this?
And I used to do a lot of stupid stuff, but I didn't do that because I didn't want to do that with other people's pets or autistic kids. I mean, why you got to be about it?
Now,
right? I mean, what
about this?
Tell me if there's another angle on this that I'm missing.
Maybe this is
What's
the thing.
The angle?
Because when somebody in the neighborhood has like a dirty yard, or they don't cut the grass in time, it's always weeds. In my hometown, at my parents' house, my dad's house, there's a neighbor with a duck. The duck quacks, like you can hear the duck quacking. But what happened, and I'm sorry to say this, it became a neighborhood shaming, where that neighbor is now shamed into doing the right thing.
Right.
is the same situation, does the same situation apply in this sense, or do people who are doing this just don't care?
Well,
Are they like,
I
I
think
don't care?
when you're talking about grass or somebody leaves their trailer, that's a code violation. You can easily call your county code enforcement, and they will come out and they'll clearly see if the grass is high. They'll clearly see if this truck is up on blocks that shouldn't be, and they will rectify that situation. But at 3 in the morning, when some is blowing your end, and you will never catch him. Unless he keeps doing it over and over again, and the cops are there, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't think he'd find me." It's like, then he deserves to get caught. But this is like graffiti artists, the M80 guys at 3 in the morning. They're just in the cover of darkness doing their thing, and you will never catch them. So and it's just, why? What's the point?
We got a couple of comments. Leanna Henshaw pointed out, plus people with PTSD. So it does affect people suffering from PTSD.
Absolutely
and
true.
then also Janet Piper said, I always looked forward to our neighborhood fireworks display when growing up, but now things have changed so much and have gotten so dangerous. I would rather go to the fair or the park and watch the displays there. So I know here in Sacramento there's a lot of different things going on, but there are also a lot of stands. And I will say this, growing up, there used to be a stand, I grew up in Flint, Michigan, on every single corner. Every corner there were fireworks stands. I don't see that many here like I did in the Midwest.
Really?
Yeah, but again, we didn't have as many rules as there are here. You couldn't light like M80s, but you can do anything else, any other firecracker, sparklers, the little ones you put on the ground that really didn't do anything. You light them and it just makes that little flame, and they're pointless and useless and stank up the whole neighborhood. But so I don't see that many stands, but again, I live like in the sticks, so I mean, I guess I wouldn't.
It's all about the community. Some are totally down with it, do whatever you want, and then other ones, there's just a whole bunch of laws, whether they're concerned about fire,
that's
big. Or there's been an incident in the past, a well-publicized incident where maybe a kid was hurt, then all of a sudden that changes instantly for a city or a neighborhood. So I mean, things happen over time where maybe it goes in a different direction, but it's totally depends on the community. I did a story once. I used to work in the Central Coast of California. The fire department had a fireworks stand for fundraising. So it's different depending on where you are. And just on Nextdoor, and first of all, I am very respectful. You're not wanting to be on this show, so I'm not going to use a real name or even your neighborhood. But just so many people, they're calling the non-emergency line. It rings and rings and rings. No one will come out. They're frustrated. This happens every single year. I'm sick of it. What can be done? This year, in particular, in the Sacramento area, they have a lot more forces over there because there's been some shootings, so they want to have more of a presence there. That means less to respond to fireworks calls. So it just goes on and on and on. Frustrated, what can I do, what can I do?
Nothing.
There's
nothing.
That's the problem.
You almost, unfortunately, have to handle the situation yourself if it's your neighbor 2 houses down, because the cops are way too busy to come out for something like that. I mean, they'll barely come to your house as it is now because they're understaffed and there's so much going on. You almost have to go over and go, hey man, knock it off or I'm going to rain on you. You know, so and then it puts neighbor v. neighbor, or you become a private investigator, you start driving around trying to find out, and you stumble into some party with M80s and then they beat your butt.
Yeah.
You know?
And let us know, guys, if you've experienced this in your neighborhood, or if you're going through this right now, or if you have a solution, because it sounds like the problem is there is no solution, but if there is, nobody is telling us what the solution is, so we just can't figure this out.
And I just want to point out one other thing, too, about M80s, just really quickly. On any other day, let's say this is August 25th, and there's a backpack full of M80s left over from the 4th of July, and that's left in some public place. The police would respond with a robot for a suspicious device contained with explosives. So on any other day, in any other moment, the amount of fireworks illegal in one spot being lit off, it's a huge deal. That would dominate the news for the day, but on the 4th of July, it's just overwhelming and people can't do anything about it.
Another comment from Todd Luttrell. I get what you're saying. I feel for the pets and elderly for sure. Think about others around you. We used to live in California and moved to Washington State, and on the 4th, it sounds like a battlefield. Man. So Washington, California, everywhere, people, same problems.
There are actual gunshots in the middle of all this.
Oh,
I know they have ShotSpotter and other technology that can differentiate, but in the moment, I mean,
there are a lot of states I know, like Indiana or Illinois, where it's legal. Everything's legal. My buddy used to own a place called Johnny Rockets. You'd walk in, it was as big as like a Walgreens, and had rows set up like Walgreens, and you could buy whatever you want. But people know, you know, that what's coming. But here it's illegal yet, and people get their M80s from Arizona and Nevada and mail order. That's where you get them because you can't legally buy them around here. So it's a tough night, and it's 5 nights because this is a weird long weekend. So you wait. Tonight it'll be bad, and tomorrow night it's going to be really bad.
Yeah.
Well, this is we're gonna wrap really quickly. But does this just mean that we're all turning into old farts?
Yeah.
Is are we all farts?
Yeah, that's true too. Cool. I think there's some element of that. You know, Rob and I have done our share of things. Would you like to share some of the bad things you've done in your life? Because we're about out. I'm not going to have time to say mine. So we have time for yours,
I forget. Let me Google here.
Show us the receipt.
No, look,
Rob.
I was young once. Of course, okay, but guess what?
You were respectful.
I'm getting older. Yeah, exactly.
You were respectful of other
now.
people.
I get it, and I just hope other people get it. So come along with me on the journey of young to old, having kids, changing your lifestyle, and get out on your lawn.
They're
with
never
your
going
robe.
to ask us back on this show. They're going to pull stuff like that.
And guess what? If you want to confront your neighbors, go out in a robe with your slippers. You don't have to say anything.
But you got to leave the
Just
road
walk
slightly
over
open,
there, hands in your pocket in your robe, and just stare at them.
With that said, you guys, it's been a great Monday.
That's effective, but you're creeping me out.
We're off for Extra Shot tomorrow because of the holiday.